Hi, welcome. On this video, this is day 3 of board and train here with Maya, and she's out here on the in my neighborhood here, and we're about to do the street walk. So the focus here is on going into a more distracting area, and with again focus on interacting with her in a very specific way in terms of how she's investing. So here I have the pressure collar on her, and the goal here again, that's to give me more leverage to be able to intercept her state of mind in a proactive way. But again, when I talk about proactive, that's why in terms of agreeableness. Now here's the dog coming here right now. This is good because I got a dog coming. But here you see there's a dog just walking right behind us here. You see her. This is a great example of what I'm talking about. Right here, you see this dog going by us. And I turned her completely opposite. She was pretty reactive. But see what I'm doing here? You'll see in the background, the dog is walking behind us now. I have Maya turned completely opposite. So what that does is gives me a better picture, okay, as to how, the level at which she's attempting to invest. Okay, invest meaning express a level of control, anticipation, in terms of a level of control. So here, again, it's being proactive. Okay, so as soon as you pick up or have a sense that your dog is investing, okay, the best option, okay, is to turn opposite, but not out of fear or weakness. Okay, it's like a mini exercise. It's about control and relationship. So I'm in control at all times. So it just gives me a better ability to be able to intercept her state of mind. Because now by turning, she's got to swivel her head completely around, okay, to be able to fixate. And I can nudge her out of that. Okay, so when I talk about how I'm using the choke chain, okay, it's not about cranking and yanking on dogs. Understand that that takes the form of what defines a correction through balance training. That's not what I'm doing. This is proactive. So this is understanding where you're standing, where you're at in the relationship, already knowing that she's going to express control by way of a level of stinking thinking, okay? So you have to be ahead of the curve of her mind. That's going to be, she's going to be more agreeable to that because that's going to make more sense to her, okay? So it's a more of a calmer conversation, so to speak, in terms of relationship. Just like speaking to a selfish child, sitting down at the table, having conversation before you go to the mall, Disney, or wherever, okay? Because if you don't have that conversation, and if you don't have set up expectations, okay, it's going to be a living nightmare. Okay, this is why people wonder why things fall to pieces or they struggle when dogs are really overly investing with other dogs and things get out of control. Well, it's because the relationship's out of control. They just don't see it. Okay, this is about being intentional. So here, notice I'm just still tapping a little bit, I'm nudging, because understand this isn't about distance. Okay, we're out in the street here, but that was a great moment right there with this other dog just suddenly, as I was kind of doing my intro on the video, the lady and the dog appeared, which was great because that's how it works. It's about you know, it's about real world. Okay, it's never about avoiding things. It's about setting up for success. So that was the first time that something like that's happened, which was great. Now I am going to start moving with her. Now again, the other thing to mention too is I had her outside, took her to the bathroom already. And so you want to get that out of the way first, because when you're doing your walk, you want your dog to be with their head up. You don't want them sniffing the grass, okay? You want to be in tune to their state of mind. You don't want them investing, okay? So same thing. So I walk with her, got her head up. I'm nudging slightly here. See her here? I'm nudging a little bit as she's trying to swivel her head a little bit as the car goes by. Just a little nudge. And that little nudge is just saying, hey, don't worry about it. I'm in control. Okay? And this is where you want her, right near your side. Now it's helpful again to stop every once in a while. I'll stop. Okay? The default sit will start to happen over time. Here I'm pushing on her bum area to get her down and sit, a little push-pull. But she has a pressure collar on. I'm taking a little easy with the pulling up part. Typically you want to do that with a flat collar. But here she's on the pressure collar because we're outside here. And I want a little bit more control, a little more leverage. But you notice the flat collar's on her at the same time. So I'll have both collars on at the same time so I can switch back and forth as needed, depending on what area I'm in. But when I'm outside, I'm going to definitely use the choke chain. But again, understand it's how you use it. Okay, I'm not waiting to be overwhelmed by a bad moment. Okay, it's proactive, so therefore it takes on different meaning. That collar, people have a certain idea about a collar based on, say, balance training, and people cranking and yanking. That's not how this works through this system. Okay, so I don't use a pinch collar because that device, the focus becomes that device because it's the device that is dog's responding to, not the individual. Same thing. So we're walking down here a little ways, doing really well. I tell people, if your dog's doing well, it's because you're doing well. Don't focus on the dog that way. It's about relationship. Just like if your child has a good attitude and respect for other people, because your parenting style likely is good. You're following the right parenting style. So it's the same type of thing. One's a reflection of the other. So here, doing really good. I'm just one-handing this. See, I just have the one hand. But again, as I'm walking, this is the secret, okay, is I'm sensing how much her mind is trying to roll forward and also investing side to side. So I'm doing two things at the same time. I'm tapping a little bit at times just to keep her floating beside me. And I'm nudging a little bit as I sense her mind is moving towards certain things a certain way, but I'm doing it so if I'm doing it in a very proactive way, it's very subtle and people shouldn't be able to pick it out as though I'm cranking and yanking at all. Okay, just these little taps. So my hand's barely moving, but it is moving. I'm going to move the other way. I want to turn into her, so she's on my left side. I'm going to turn to my left. You're going to stop. It's helpful. I'm going to put her back into a sit position, pushing on her bum. She's pretty agreeable here. You don't have to push too hard because you want to halt. Okay, I want to slow her down. So here we are. This is as far as we're going to go for today. This is day one, but like I said, that brief encounter with the other dog, that was kind of like the big moment. That worked out really well. But again, you notice what I did. I turned completely opposite for now. But see how she's turning her head here. Oh, got a dog coming. This is interesting. So I'm going to move forward. Hi. Morning. So there's a dog that was loose coming towards us. And so what I did here was, I didn't wait for the dog to come across the street. I moved out of the range. And I'm opposite again. And I'll stop here for a second because again, I want to use all situations, even when this dog is still loose. I'm aware of it behind me. You can hear barking, right? I'm using this situation, but I got it far enough away I didn't want to aggravate or tempt that dog to keep coming any further. See, I'm just tapping my out of it. That's all I'm saying by how I'm working leash is saying, hey, don't worry about the other dog. I'm in control. You might meet the other dog, maybe, but it's going to be through me. Okay, that's the difference here. So when I'm nudging, the cranking and yanking part, people start cranking and yanking on dogs. Sometimes the dog takes that as an absolute. Here, this is about conditional state. So when I'm nudging, basically it's like a little hey you saying, hey, focus on me. I'm building bridges as a follower, getting her to think different. And in effect, it changes her perception. And over time, I won't have to turn certain ways. I can start to relax the method a little bit. Because then it's just more just like maintenance, just like maintaining. Because you become the system. See, that's key. So you have a certain way of interacting anyway. Same thing you see, you just nudge, you're doing really great. So you're down here, I'm just one-handing this. Moving down the street. So we've had 2 dog encounters so far, which is a great opportunity. Then I stop her, put her back into a sit, do a little quick pull. This camera's kind of swiveling a little bit here. Tapping a little bit. I just want her to relax. That's it. And she is. She's, you know, she's getting very relaxed here, starting to relax more because it's the same messaging, okay, all the time with how I'm interacting with her, how I'm asserting influence, how I'm working her. Notice she's floating here, not letting her nose hit the ground, keeping her nose up. She already did her business just before we did the walk, so I know we're good. And then, this is the thing, if you want to do something with your dog after the walk, then that's fine. But during the walk itself, you want to focus on having them walk beside you as a follower. Okay, keeping this lined up this way. Because again, you start letting the dog advance out in front, that becomes a problem because their mind starts to push. So notice here, his little tail's wagging. So this is a de-stressing exercise. Understand that contentment and comfort, okay, come through adopting the right role, okay? Lifting the stress off your dog makes them truly happy, okay, because they're relaxed. You know, you're faded in. Put her back into a sit, we're back. Yeah. So again, Maya did absolutely fantastic. It's funny, the lady is still out. Her dog off leash way down there, the dog that we encountered. So we had a couple great opportunities for change, a couple dogs coming out, and again my focus was on making sure that she was thinking as a follower, okay, just intercepting her state of mind, just like, again, taking the form of a nudge. She's doing really great. You know, so again, this is something that we're going to start to work on, the outside walk. This is day 3, doing really good.